Lieutenant Erik Volker had been assigned to the Kaevari Royal Guard as a diplomatic liaison. Military code, for we need humans visible in their security detail to prove the alliance is real. He'd expected ceremonial duties, formal protocols, endless standing at attention while Queen Lysara conducted state business. He hadn't expected combat. The attack came during a border inspection tour, coordinated strikes suggesting inside knowledge of the Queen's schedule. The royal convoy was hit simultaneously from 3 positions: plasma fire disabling vehicles, ground forces emerging from terrain intelligence had cleared. Within 90 seconds, the situation went from controlled to catastrophic. Erik watched the Kaevari Royal Guards respond with textbook precision initially, establishing perimeter, returning fire, moving the Queen toward the armored transport. Then the second wave hit, heavier weapons that turned the transport into molten slag. Everything changed. The guard captain took a plasma bolt to the chest. His second fell moments later. And Erik saw something he'd never expected: royal guards, elite soldiers sworn to protect their queen with their lives, beginning to retreat. Not organized tactical withdrawal. Panic. Fall back, someone shouted in Kaevari. Regroup at secondary position. Erik looked at Queen Lysara, still exposed in the kill zone. Her sidearm drawn but clearly understanding ceremonial weapons were useless against military assault. Her elongated ears pressed flat against her head. Fear, though her expression remained regally composed even as her guards abandoned positions. The rational choice was obvious. Erik was one human soldier against 2 full assault teams with heavy weapons. Following the guards to secondary position was tactically sound, survivable, exactly what his training demanded. Instead, Erik moved toward the Queen. "Your Majesty," he said, positioning himself between Lysara and incoming fire. "We need to reach that rock formation. 30 meters, can you run?" Lysara stared at him like he'd lost his mind. Around them, the last of her guards were disappearing, leaving the Queen completely undefended except for one human. "My guards are gone," Erik said bluntly. "I'm not now run." The rock formation provided minimal cover, but enough to keep them alive. Erik set up a defensive position, rationing ammunition while calculating how long he could hold against superior numbers and firepower. The math wasn't encouraging. "Why didn't you retreat?" Lysara asked, composure finally cracking to show genuine confusion beneath fear. "You're not even Kaevari. Your oath isn't to me personally. Following my guards would have been logical." "Probably," Erik agreed, firing 3 precise shots that forced advancing soldiers to reconsider. "But I took an oath when I joined your guard detail. Protect the Queen with my life if necessary. Didn't include a clause about only when convenient." "That's foolish. You'll die here." "Maybe, but at least I won't die having abandoned someone I swore to protect." Erik checked his ammunition. "How's your aim with that sidearm?" "Adequate for ceremony, untested in actual combat." "Today's your testing day, Your Majesty. I need you to cover the left approach while I handle the right. Don't try for perfect shots, just make them think twice about advancing." Lysara positioned herself as directed, hands steady despite obvious fear. "You're serious. You actually intend to hold this position against 2 full assault teams. Until reinforcements arrive or I run out of ammunition, whichever comes first." Erik fired again. "Fair warning, I'm down to about 40 rounds, so we might need to get creative after that." "Lieutenant, this is suicide." "This is duty, Your Majesty. There's a difference." They held for 17 minutes. Erik made every shot count, using terrain and timing to create the illusion of more defenders. Lysara, despite never having fired in combat, managed to wound one attacker and force others to respect the left approach. But ammunition was depleting faster than reinforcements were arriving. 10 rounds left," Erik said quietly. "When I'm down to 5, I want you to run. North through that gap, there's a ravine about 200 meters out. If you reach it before they realize you're moving, you might make it to where your guards retreated. And leave you to die covering my escape." Lysara's voice carried shocked offense. "You ask me to abandon you after you refuse to abandon me." "I ask you to survive, Your Majesty. That's the whole point of me being here." No, the word carried absolute royal authority. "I will not order you to sacrifice yourself while I flee like a coward." "It's not cowardice, it's accepting tactical reality. It's abandonment, the very thing you condemned my guards for." Lysara's amber eyes met his directly. "If we die here together. I won't dishonor your loyalty by treating it as disposable. The Kaevari relief force arrived with 8 rounds remaining, combat shuttles dropping in with overwhelming firepower that sent the assault teams scattering. Medical teams swarmed, checking the Queen for injuries, establishing perimeter security that should have existed from the beginning. Erik was treated for minor shrapnel wounds while investigators cataloged the scene. The destroyed convoy, the abandoned positions, the single rock formation where one human had held against impossible odds. Queen Lysara refused medical treatment until she'd given her statement personally. Erik watched from the medical tent as she spoke with senior military command, her composure fully restored. He expected to be debriefed and quietly reassigned. Instead, Lysara came to the medical tent personally. "Your injuries?" she asked. "Minor, Your Majesty. I'll be cleared for duty within a day." "Good." Lysara was silent, studying him with intensity that made Erik uncomfortable. "My guard captain survived. He's been arrested, along with the others who retreated. They'll face court-martial for abandoning their posts." "Your Majesty, they were overwhelmed. The tactical situation was not so overwhelming that one human soldier couldn't hold position and protect me." Lysara's voice was cold. "They panicked. They broke oath. They left me to die. There's no tactical justification for that failure." Erik wanted to argue, but Lysara's expression suggested this wasn't the time. "I owe you my life," Lysara said finally. "An oath debt that tradition says can only be repaid through permanent service or significant sacrifice on my part. You don't owe me anything, Your Majesty. I did my job." "No, you did considerably more than your job. You held a position my own guards abandoned. You refused logical retreat. You stood between me and death when every tactical consideration said you should run." She stepped closer. "Why, truly? Not duty, not oath. Those are words that didn't stop my guards from fleeing. What made you stay?" Erik considered deflecting with military professionalism. Instead, he told the truth. "Because watching you maintain composure while your guards abandoned you was the bravest thing I've ever seen. Because you deserved someone who wouldn't leave just because the situation got complicated. Because," he stopped, "because it mattered that you survived." Lysara's expression shifted into something Erik couldn't quite read. "You barely know me. I know you kept firing even when terrified. I know you refused to abandon me even when I ordered you to run. I know you're the kind of person worth protecting." Erik met her eyes. "That was enough. I'm promoting you to captain of my personal guard," Lysara said abruptly. "My previous captain demonstrated that Kaevari loyalty has limits. I want someone whose loyalty apparently doesn't." The promotion caused immediate controversy. A human commanding the Kaevari Queen's personal guard violated tradition, questioned military capability, suggested the Queen trusted an outsider more than her own people. Lysara ignored every objection with absolute authority. Erik took his position seriously, rebuilding the guard detail from soldiers who'd proven themselves, implementing protocols designed to prevent panic. But the dynamic between him and Lysara had shifted in ways beyond military hierarchy. She consulted him on security beyond his purview, asked his opinion on matters that didn't require guard input, found reasons for private conversations that extended well beyond professional necessity. 3 months after the ambush, during a quiet moment in the palace gardens, Lysara approached alone. "My advisors think I've elevated you because I'm infatuated with the human who saved my life," she said without preamble. "They believe I'm confusing gratitude with more personal feelings." "Are you?" Erik asked, then immediately regretted the directness. "Your Majesty, that was inappropriate." "No, it was honest. The same honesty you showed when you stayed." Lysara's ears angled forward, curiosity, affection. "And to answer, no, I'm not confusing gratitude with affection. I'm simply accepting that they can coexist." Erik's heart rate increased. "Your Majesty." "Lysara. When we're alone, you may use my name. You've earned that right." "Lysara," Erik tried, the informality feeling dangerous and right. "What are you saying?" "I'm saying that watching you stand alone against impossible odds showed me what loyalty without calculation looks like. That 3 months of working beside you have demonstrated that sometimes the person who sees you most clearly is the one who didn't grow up being told what to see." She stepped closer. "I'm saying my advisors are correct. I do have feelings for the human who saved my life, but those feelings aren't confusion, they're clarity." Erik knew the complications, the political implications, the accusations of impropriety. He should have maintained professional distance. Instead, he said quietly, "I would have protected you regardless. You know that, right? This doesn't need to be transactional." "I know, that's why it matters." Lysara's hand found his, warm and slightly trembling. "You stayed when my own guards fled. You refused to leave even when I ordered it. That's not common, Erik. That's not something I take for granted." "What happens now?" "Now we